with Team of Head Coach Jacques, Nienaber, and we have the three players later on that will follow in order of Handré Pollard, Kobus Reinach, and then Ox Nche. Ox is then embargoed for the next day. While you are free to use the quotes of the other squad members. In terms of how we will proceed, for those of you who are not familiar with our run order, it is very, very easy. The coach is going to read the team on my asking, and then afterwards we're going to questions, and the questions will be by show of hand. And then when I call out your name, please, then you can direct your question to Jacques. So I'd just like to get a sound check from Jacques, whether he's all and ready, whether we can hear him. Jacques, good afternoon.
Hi, Ryan, can you guys hear me?
All good, thank you very much. Jacques, I'm sure that you're very eager to announce your first squad. Over to you. Thank you to announce the team against Georgia.
Thank you, Ryan. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. The team playing on Friday night against Georgia will be, and I'm going to read it out from number 1 to number 23. And you guys will see there will be 3 debutants in it. Let's give it a go. So number 1 will be Ox Nche. Number 2 will be Bongi. Number 3 will be Trevor. Number 4, Eben Etzebeth. Number 5, Franco. Number 6, and our captain, Sia. Number 7, Pieter Stef de Tooy. Number 8 will be Kwagga Smit. Number 9, Kobus Reinach. Number 10, Handré Pollard. Number 11, and a debutant, Apilele Fassi. Number 12, Frans Steyn. Number 13, Jesse Kriel. Number 14, another debutant for us, Roscoe Speckman. Number 15, Billy Leroux. Number 16, Malcolm Marx. Number 17, Steven Kitsoff. Number 18, Frans Malherbe. Number 19, Marvin Ori. Number 20, debutant Jasper Wiese. Number 21, Herschel Jantjies. Number 22, Elton Jantjies. And number 23 will be Damian Willemse.
Thank you, Jacques. And our first question goes to Matthew Pierce of SuperSport. Matthew?
Thank you, Rayon. Thank you, Jacques. I guess first question for you, Jacques, your first announcement as Springbok head coach. And given all the uncertainty over the last 18 months and indeed over the last few days, how much of a sense of relief is it for you as management and for the players to actually be able to announce a squad for Test rugby again?
No, Matt, it's awesome. I must say, since my announcement as Springbok coach, which was, I think, somewhere in January or February 2020, it feels so long ago. It is long ago. You almost felt at some stage it's never going to happen. So just super excited that it's actually here. And we a couple of days away of playing our first test match in a very long time. So super excited, as is the squad.
And you mentioned the debutants, specifically the 2 starters on the wings, Roscoe Speckman, Apilele Fassi. Given that they are playing their first test matches on Friday, the importance of having Willie Leroux at the back specifically, and then perhaps as a second part to this question, you could just comment on Jasper Wiese as the debutant off the bench and what led to his Springbok selection.
Matt, super excited for the 2 wings, Apilele and Roscoe. They really trained well in the conditioning camps that we had in Bloemfontein. And yes, the importance of a guy like Willie Leroux and Handré Pollard, and then also Jesse Kriel, who's a very vocal guy on the field, is going to be massive for them. But I must say they bring some X factor to the game, and they bring their own little bit of spice to the game. So I'm looking very much forward to seeing them playing. And then on Jasper Wiese, we followed him closely while he was at Leicester in the Premiership, and he really knocked the door down in terms of his performance. So excited for him as well, coming off the bench.
And finally, from me, Jacques, just a word on Georgia and the specific threat that they bring. If you look at the Springbok selection, Marvin Orrie and Oxenchair have had a brief introduction to Test rugby, but elsewhere in the tight five, hugely experienced players that you've picked. Is that in expectation of a particular challenge in the tight phases of the game?
Yes, Matt. No, listen, if you look at Georgia, they are ranked number 12 in the world for a reason. Obviously, we did some good homework on them. And I think if you look at their performances in the Autumn Nations Cup, 75 minutes against Wales, I think the score were close, you know. So they're a proper side, and we will really need to work hard to get our foothold in the game. And yes, like you said, they're very good at their tight phases, scrums, lineouts, they're mauling, good carriers, proud rugby nation. So it's going to be a nice challenge for us for our first outing.
Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, Rayon.
Thank you to Matthew Pierce of SuperSport. And our first question in follow-up goes to Craig Ray.
Morning, afternoon, everyone, and congratulations, Jacques. You finally get to name that team after so long. Well done. Just in terms of the squad, you know, people like Faf, Damien de Linde, Snema and Loet de Jager weren't selected. Is that because they're not fit, or is that just a tactical decision?
Some of them are not. Obviously, we all know. Some of them are still carrying injuries, and they are busy with their return to rugby protocols and getting back on the field. But some of them are guys that literally only came in a little bit later. So we just spent a lot of time. They played in Premiership semi-finals, and the two Toulouse boys played in the top 14 final on Friday night. So they were literally just late in camp, and we have spent a lot of time with the other guys. The guys that we selected, but there is a guy like a guy like Loet is on his way back after his injury. He had some sessions with Sale, and I think if they would have been participating in the Premiership final, there might be a chance that he would have been in the matchday squad. So he's just in the process getting back. And I think the other guy you asked about was Ergie. Am I right there, Craig?
I know he's got other issues, but yeah.
Yeah, so obviously he's been, he was one of the two burn victims, and they in the process of getting, working their way back into full fitness.
Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. And the following question goes to Ken Borland. Good afternoon, Ken. Ken, if you're there. Okay, we move on. Morgan Pick.
Hi, Jacques. Thanks, Ray. Jacques, how much energy has Specky's brought to the camp? Because everybody knows he's quite a live wire. He's quite a colourful character, a nice guy to be around. And then secondly, Jasper Wiese, a guy that could definitely be considered to be that Wayne Vermeulen kind of player should the need arise when the Lions come late for the test against Lions later.
Yes, no, on your first part of your question, Roscoe is a live wire, brings a lot of energy, is a real funny guy off the field, and always got a smile on his face. But I must say, when it comes down to the rugby side of things, he's a full professional. I mean, it's well documented how successful he is. And while playing sevens, part of that Olympic bronze medalist team, if I'm correct. So he's played a lot of tournaments on the big stage. So he's a very professional guy when it comes to on the field, but off the field he's a fun guy, and he makes the people laugh, and he brings a lot of energy. Then Jasper Wiese, yes, Jasper in the Premiership, he's been outstanding in terms of getting momentum, stopping momentum, and he was one of the guys that really just knocked the door down in terms of letting us take notice of his performance there.
Thank you, Jacques. And Ken, I see your hand is still up. I would like to give the question to you, but if not, if you cannot hear us, then we'll move on. Now we'll go over to Will Kelleher.
Hi there, Jacques. It's Will Kelleher from the Daily Mail in the UK. Can you hear me?
Yes, Will. Hear you loud and clear.
Thanks very much. Yes, for those of us who are not in South Africa at the moment and reading about the situation you're in with COVID and everything else, can you kind of just explain to us what it's like and what restrictions you've got in place with the Box squad?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit at the end, but I guess your question was, can I explain the environment we're currently operating in South Africa in terms of COVID? Yes, in terms from us as a Springbok side, I mean, I must compliment all the stakeholders involved. We're in a very, how can I say, in a very close-knit environment, and they look after our safety and the way we do things. So we're fortunate in terms of that. So from the country's perspective, I must be honest, I was purely focusing, being my first test match and all that, purely focusing on the rugby side of things. But I think our country moved to alert level 4, I think, adaptive 4 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So, but from a rugby side, how the Springboks are managed, I think it's awesome. They really look after our safety, and there's good protocols in place, making sure, and we make sure that we adhere to that, to make sure that the squad is safe, that the integrity of the tournament is safe. So yeah, that's pretty much from a rugby side on the COVID issues.
Just as a follow-up to that, do you think the Lions tour and series will and should go ahead despite this rise in cases?
Yes, I think definitely, because of the environment that they've established for both teams, you know. So I think there's I'm not an expert in terms of COVID and viruses and virology and all that, but I think they are trying to mitigate the risk of infection as much as they can, and we adhere to those protocols as much as we can. I think people, from our side, from the Springbok side, there's not a player that doesn't want to participate in this tour, because it's such a special tour, you know, and it only comes around maybe once every 12 years, and you will be lucky as a Springbok player to participate in it once in your career. So everybody is trying their utmost best to stay virus-free, COVID-free, stay within the boundaries. And as I say, I don't think with a virus you can completely take away all risk. As I say, I'm not a specialist in terms of that, but the precautions that the people has taken to keep us as safe as possible is magical, and we're currently obliging to that. So I can't see that that tour will be in jeopardy. We are operating as normal within our environment, as much as normal as it is currently in COVID. So no, I can't see it being in jeopardy.
Thank you, Will, and thank you, Jacques. We move on and we go over to Craig Lewis in Cape Town. Good afternoon, Craig.
Thanks, Rayon. Jacques, if I could just ask you to elaborate on the selection of Fassi, just obviously playing him on the wing, and what you expect from him and why you picked him on the wing.
Yes, it was Craig, eh? Craig asked the question. Yes, Craig. Okay, yeah. So Apilele. Okay. So when we've picked the side, but we didn't announce the team on Sunday evening, or on Saturday evening going into Sunday. But then obviously we had the COVID issues within our camp in terms of and a guy like Lucanio, and I don't want to go into too much detail and into every little specifics, but I think we want to be as as transparent as possible. And the only two guys that really got influenced by that was Makazole Mapimpi and Lucanio Am. As I said, we selected the team on Saturday, but then obviously the COVID cases came out on Sunday, and they were close contacts, so we went into isolation immediately, and that's how a guy like Apelele Fassi got into the mix, and a guy like Jesse Creel got into the mix, he trained with us in the preparation, in the conditioning weeks. He trained with us at wing. And sometimes when you're new in a squad, he's a very talented player. He's got a massive skill set. And I know that he plays for his franchise at 15 predominantly, but he slotted in at wing beautifully. And with the guidance of a guy like Willie and Andre and Jesse and Lucanio, there was good guidance around him. So, yeah, he slotted in nicely.
Thank you, and we're going to move to Gavin Rich. Afternoon, Gavin.
Sorry, Jacques. Craig just asked the question, so no problem. Sorry about that.
Oh, no worries, no problem. Thank you. So you covered. Thank you. Next question goes to Gareth Jenkins. Gareth Jenkinson.
Thanks, Rayan. How's it, Jacques? Just a quick one. I think Craig asked the question that a lot of us were wanting to ask there, but just your thoughts on the amount of time you actually have to prepare for the 3 tests against the British and Irish Lions. I mean, does that force you to really look at testing your strongest starting 15 with the matches that you have available?
Yes, definitely. As we said from the start, with the limited time that we have available, and we basically have 3 test matches before we go into the British and Irish Lions series, which is the 2 Georgia test matches, and then also the SAA game against the British and Irish Lions. So we always went from the start and said, listen, we will select the best available team for the outcome that we want in that specific game. And this was our best available team that we could select to get a desired outcome in the game. So we would love to obviously give everybody a chance in the next 3 games so that you can make a proper informed decision in terms of who we will select for that first British and Irish Lions test. But we obviously would go with a lot of guys that we've coached a long time, that has been in our system, that has got a good understanding of what we're trying to achieve, and that we have worked with for a while. So obviously that plays a big role. But then also we would like to give guys like now Apelele and Roscoe a chance in these games to see how they fit into our structures and how they fit into the Springboks and the way we do things. So yes, it's probably going to be a balance in terms of getting our rhythm as quickly as possible, hitting our straps as quickly as possible, but also giving as much opportunity as we possibly can to new guys in our environment, so that we can make a proper informed decision when it comes to the test matches. The British and Irish Lions test matches. Sorry.
Thank you, Jacques. In terms of our timing, we need to move on, and I'm going to have one final question to Jacques, and it goes to Peter Jordan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you wouldn't mind if I ask a question in Afrikaans.
Peter, jy kan skiet.
Baie dankie. Jacques, net so vir die Afrikaanse nuus, wat dit vir jou beteken persoonlik om uiteindelik daai lang gewag hierdie kans te kry om jou buiging te maak, en jy steeds so opgewonde soos wat jy argument onthaalwe 'n jaar en 'n half gelede sou wees, of dalk meer, en dan wat hierdie toets vir julle beteken as voorbereiding, en dan net as 'n opvolg oor die samestelling van die span, en net ietsie noem oor die debutante. Dis 'n mond vol asseblief.
Pieter, ja, eerstens baie opgewonde om vir ons eerste toets vir verskeie redes, jy weet. Ja, dit gaan my eerste toets wees as hoofafrigter. Was al betrokke by 'n paar toetse saam met die bokke. So baie opgewonde vir dit, en dan ook opgewonde vir ons om weer na 19 maande op die veld te kom as 'n nasionale span. Ek het dit al 'n paar keer genoem, jy weet. ewe skielik is internasionale rugby of Springbok rugby van jou al weggeneem as 'n afrigter, as 'n speler. En is so half 'n skok wat jy kry in terme van want dit was so deel van jou lewe en nou kan dit so van selfsprekend soms ervaar en ek sê dit in 'n positiewe manier. Jy weet, luister, Januarie begin, die inkomende toere gaan in Julie wees, dan gaan ons in rugby kampioenskappe in en dan is dit die einde van die jaar toe. Dit is so deel van jou roetine, jou jaar gaan so loop en dan ewe skielik gebeur daar iets soos COVID en jou jaar loop nie meer so nie en ek dink almal van ons het dit verskriklik gemis, want dit is so groot eer en dit is regtig lekker om deel te wees van die Springbok is regtig spesiaal. Dis nie soos enige ander span waarmee ek het al in die verlede gewerk het nie. So ja, ongelooflik opgewonde. In terme van die debutante, yes, ek sien baie uit om te sien wat hulle gaan doen. Hulle was uit die aard van die saak het hulle regtig goeie rugby gespeel en dis hoekom hulle in die groep ingekom het. Hulle het regtig goed geoefen in die 3 weke wat ons bymekaar was in Bloemfontein en ek is net opgewonde om te sien wat hulle gaan bring. Jy weet, in die voorbereiding in hierdie week is die belangrike ding, luister hierso, neem soveel inligting in as wat jy kan, maar wanneer dit by Vrydag kom, moet hulle nie dink nie, dan moet hulle kan ek maar sê, hulle circus skills, die ding waarvoor hulle is, dit wat hulle uniek maak as rugby spelers, Jasper en Apilele en Roscoe, dan moet hulle daai talente van hulle tentoonstel op die dag. So ek kan nie wag om dit te sien nie.
Baie dankie, Jacques. Thank you very much. We're going to pause for just a few seconds while you make way for Andre Pollard, and then we'll restart with the questions. Thank you.